What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to discuss post track day, post head gasket, I guess, video for this M3. We're gonna go over everything that broke at the track, this car's first track day in 2 years, how the head gasket job is holding up, and of course we're going to talk about the accident damage. So now we know what all broke, what needs to be replaced, and where are we gonna move from here with the project. So let's get started. So let's talk about our game plan for today. So we had a check engine light on at the start of the track day. We're going to swap out the Vanos solenoid, which is what I'm suspecting it is. Ever since we did the head gasket job, I've had a check engine light. The cam sensor is only 2 years old in genuine BMW. I did also replace the crank sensor, but crank sensors usually don't throw codes like that. I got a rebuilt one from Dr. Vanos. I still have the old one, so we're just going to throw the old one back on and see if the check engine light goes away. We're also going to do a compression test. So we did a head gasket, obviously, and I have a new set of plugs we're gonna throw in here. Figure a compression test would be a good idea, just so we can get a new baseline for what the compression of this engine reads. And of course, we can compare them to our terrible numbers that we had pre-head gasket job. Other issues, we have the accident damage, obviously. Now I have an estimate for what this is going to cost. So this is broken. This is broken, that's broken. The radiator, like under tray, is broken. We have a new set of fog lights. We did find the brake duct, which is not broken. And the bumper is cracked down there, you can see. Okay, it's not really gonna show on camera, but we have this secured basically with like zip ties. And you can kind of see it there, yeah. Not great. And then the quarter panel dent over here, which was also not very cool. So the body shops that I took it to think that the taillight essentially like pushed into the quarter panel, sort of the rear end, sort of like the suspension compressed. I think the forces from that just pushed the taillight into the quarter panel and made this like, it's actually bigger than golf ball size dent. The body shops all quoted me like $3,000 to $4,000 between this and that. I have a PDR guy who seems to do wonders, and he quoted me $500 for this, and he also would not require paint, which would be ideal because I'd like to save the original factory finish, especially on a panel so big like the quarter panel. I'd like to paint the matchup as best as it can, and saving the original paint is obviously the best way to do that. And it's also cheaper, which is a bonus. So that, and then we're just gonna repaint the front bumper and get a new one. And then the last damage that we sustained was actually our passenger front caliper. Yes, this caliper over here that we rebuilt last year. It is leaking brake fluid. This was actually found in an inspection I had done on the car post track day and post accident to make sure the suspension was all okay. So we rebuilt that caliper. We rebuilt both of the front calipers actually, but the shop informed me that sometimes when you rebuild calipers, they just don't really seal right, or the mating surface could be worn out or damaged, something get caught in it, and then the seal just blows out again. So I bought new Ate brake calipers, the M3. It was like $200 a side, basically. Just not too bad. We'll paint them red, make them look nice so that they match the red. And honestly, red calipers just look cool. So like, yeah, we're gonna paint them red. So that is the plan for today. This is gonna be split up into two parts. Today is day one. We're going to do the engine stuff, and then we're going to jack the car up once my calipers come in and install those. And then we'll go take the car for a test drive and see if our check engine light comes back and see how our new calipers feel. There was a moment on the track where I overestimated my brakes, and I suspect that that is actually when the front caliper went out. Because after that, the brake pedal, it felt good, but it never really felt the same. So the car's been parked for the meantime because a leaky front brake caliper can quickly become a not sealing front brake caliper, and then you push the pedal and it goes to the floor and you have no brakes. So we're trying to avoid that situation. But with all that said, let's go ahead and get started. There we have it, ladies and gentlemen. Compression test on a 256,000 mile S52. that looks really good. Our lowest was cylinder 1 at like 165, and our highest was cylinder 2 at like 170, I don't know, I'll call it 172, which is incredible compression for an engine like this. The number itself is a little bit low. I'm gonna test that more so to the gauge, because to be honest, the first time I did it, I did on cylinder 1, I got like 150, and I just like messed with the gauge a little bit, and then it got up to 165. I took the adapter off that was on the end of it and put it on the leak down tester when we did it. So I put it back on, and I don't think I got the greatest seal. So I was more so looking for the consistency of it, and I'm pretty happy with that, to be honest. Compression is like literally as good as it gets for an engine, with well within 10%. I could not be more relieved. I was a little bit nervous for that, to be honest, because that was the actual evidence for how do we do on our head gasket job, but it could have been a lot worse. This was also a cold compression test too, so our numbers were naturally going to be lower. If we did a hot one, I guarantee we would have been considerably higher and closer to like that 190, 200 mark. So yeah, very happy about that. With that said, we're going to throw this back together, and we're going to swap our Vanos solenoid now. So let's go ahead and get that done. So we are now at day 2. I'll be honest, I shot that first part a pretty long time ago at this point. I don't remember when, but we're waiting for the brake calipers. So now we have the car jacked up in the air, and I want to show you guys this damage over here a little better. Yeah, now you can actually see it. So there's the zip tie. The bumper, which is great. And then obviously the fender liner is gone. So we have a new fender liner, new front brake calipers, which are painted. I'll be honest, I did probably like a C+, maybe B- job for the brake calipers. Behind the wheel, they'll probably look good. There was the side skirt damage as well. There's like a clips. And honestly, I noticed something else too while I was down here. This section right here took a really nasty scrape because none of that was there before, which is not really damage that I'd quantify or like pay a body shop to fix. It's like, what am I gonna do? Hit the underside of a side skirt? But what I am gonna do, and this will be a video for the future, is there are some rust spots in this car on the underside. The factory undercoating on these cars is pretty good, but if you live in Michigan like I do, and you subjected your car to more than one winters, stupidly, like I did, the factory undercoating just kind of disintegrates. So I need to go around the whole underside and touch up a lot of spots of PR15, just like clean it up. And then also a spot on the rear quarter panel, kind of in the arch. It's very hard to see, but it's there. So that will be a future video. We'll fix that up. And the side skirt, I might honestly just leave for that video, because then I'll just hit the jack points too and make it a whole thing. So with that said, we're going to start with the brake calipers and do a brake system flush. So we have our trouble child caliper here, and honestly, I was taking a look at this, and the seal does not look the greatest. It corroded on the inside of the piston, but you can tell like down here where there's been signs of fluid leakage, and the seal is like super dry rotted. I don't know, or it just feels really like stale, I guess. As this has like a nice, you know, feels very gaskety. So it doesn't really surprise me that that was leaking. I don't know, you guys let me know how I did. This obviously looks terrible down here, but that's like on the backside, so you won't even see it. So this will be like, kind of like that. So, you know, I think it looks pretty good. Actually, it'd be more like that. What sucks is because these are the Ate calipers and not the $1,400 a piece genuine BMW ones. They had to cover up the M logo. See right there, there's an M. They had to cover that up, which kind of sucks, but you know, to save $1,200, I can live. There was a small part of me too, because it just looks like they slapped like filler or Bondo on top of it, because these come painted black. That was just kind of like, what if I just sanded this off? Like, could I get back down to the M logo? But the more sensible part of me that said, I don't want to spend 5 hours on this, said, we're going to send it. So we're going to send it. we have finished putting on our front brake calipers and we bled the entire system. And I gotta say, I'm a little worried and or maybe disappointed. I bled the entire system twice. We did it in the correct order: 1 corner, 2 corner, 3 corner, 4 corner. No air came out of lines. Obviously air came out of this guy and that guy initially, but now it's fully bled. No air was coming out. I go to press the brake pedal and it's soft. Not dangerously so, but it doesn't bite as well as it did before. So I said, okay. And then I re-bled the entire system. And I did about 1 bottle, that racer and bottle's worth, between all of these. And I don't know. I feel like I'm not getting the pedal bite that I want. When I opened the bleeder screws, no air came out, even after the second time when I was trying to recheck it. On that terrible disappointment, as they used to say on Top Gear, I guess we're gonna end the video here. I was hoping to have like a full resolution. I guess I'll give you guys a total since we're here and now it's starting to rain on top of everything. Total cost for the damage from the track day is about $2,500 minus the underside scrapes. And I actually did forgot to tell you guys about sway bar. The bushing right there is disintegrated. So $2,500 between the front end and the quarter panel dent. Quarter panel dent was like $500, and the front end with paint and all the BMW trim pieces was about $2,000, and some of my own time. And last note about the Vanos solenoid, I did start the car and I ran it for a while and the check engine light came back, so Vanos solenoid was not the issue. I made a post on Facebook and I didn't really get any bites. A couple ideas I got were the crank sensors. The crank sensor was labeled OE by FCP Euro, but it is a VDO branded one. So I think the next step for the check engine light issue is going to be to swap out with the original BMW one, see if that fixes it. If that doesn't fix it, I'm gonna try the cam sensor, just warranty on an FCP with the new BMW one. But otherwise, we're digging back into the timing of the engine. I really hope we don't have to do that, but it kind of leaves us with no other choice. So a little bit of a seldom note here that we're ending on, but you know what? These things will get fixed. We will have this car back in tip-top shape by the end of the summer. And if not by the end of the summer, definitely by the end of the year. And next season, when we pull it out, it'll be perfect. So with that said, everybody, I hope you all enjoyed this video, E36 content. We have a lot more videos planned. I hope you're excited. The car is going in for body work very soon, so there might be a few weeks where you don't really see it on the channel. So take care, everybody, and I'll see you in the next one.